What's up, y'all? My name is Rook, and I got some stuff that I want to talk about. I've been seeing a lot of people talk about the Sinners movie. I haven't seen it yet, but I did see people talking about Preacher Boy and, him going into debauchery and doing whatever he wanted to do. I'm getting hella spoiled on the movie. I do plan on watching it. But I've been seeing a lot of Christians talk about it, and I thought I'd go throw, my little testimony in there. Basically, bruh, growing up, I had a really bad childhood, with my parents and stuff. It was super toxic, super abusive. Thank God that's not what it is now. They did separate and divorce a long time ago, and I have a good relationship with my dad, and my mom now. But when I actually did get saved, I started believing God at 16. I said this in a video before. You can go watch my testimony about that. But growing up, I was always in the streets with my cousins. Kick doors, fist fights, stealing stuff. Like, that's just what we did because there was nothing to do in our hometown. Well, they knew me as, I'm gonna get Kari to come out here and I'm like, whoa. Like, my cousins used to sick me on people like I was a pit bull, bro, like, realistically. And that's who I became. That was like my whole thing, right? And I got first introduced to drinking on purpose at 15, 14, one of them two ages. I remember the drink, I remember the taste. Because I long for it now at times. Not often, I would say, since I've been saved for 10 years now. But I would say there was a times, like maybe 2 years ago, I was like, man, I really want some whiskey again, bro. I really want some whiskey and Coke or whatever. And it was because I was kind of like, I think I was just being tempted in that because one of my brothers in church, like a real good friend of mine, he was also dealing with that too around the exact same time. And me and him got saved again. Well, I was saved, but I was in and out of church. And then he first started coming to the church, like right when I started dating my wife. This was like almost 8 years ago, almost. Yeah, like 7.5 years ago. It'll be 8 years this Christmas. But, me and him, we dealt with a lot of stuff. He was on drugs. He was drinking and stuff all the time. And I used to be doing pills and whatever I could find at my grandparents' house. And then I was drinking too. I started drinking on accident, which is whiskeys and wines, because my granddaddy was an alcoholic, right? And basically, I didn't think nothing of it. I'm like, oh, that kind of tastes nasty. It burned my chest, whatever. But when I was 15 and I got Southern Comfort and Coke, that junk burned my chest, but it felt good, if that makes sense. It's kind of like the culmination of all the anger and stuff that I had. That's how it would feel like when I would get in fights with people, because I wouldn't even really be like too mad at people, but I would use the anger that I had towards my parents and specifically my dad to fuel every fight. And then I would always take and remember his advice that he would give me. Make sure that you hurt them so bad they never want to mess with you again. That was the one thing that my dad did teach me when I was younger. And I ran with that because I was smaller. I got a lot of cousins that was taller than me at the time, but I was Michael's son. And my daddy was really known in our hometown by a lot of the communities out there. Every race knows Michael Miller. Just like how they know my family, because the town is not, it was like 30-something thousand people when I was born. And my dad went to school with, everybody either went to Central or they went to Spring Hill. That was the only two high schools that people was going to unless they went to Zion, in Columbia, Tennessee. So I had to show people I'm my daddy's son, but I didn't want to be like my dad. And I'm never going to be like my dad. I was on drugs. I was drinking. I was fighting. And I flirted with a lot of girls. So I basically became my dad on accident. Anyways, years later, I graduated high school. And I'm still Christian at this time. I I'm Christian at this time. And then when I left, because I had to get away from my mom and my stepdad, because they was on bull at the time. I ain't gonna lie. But I moved back to my hometown, telling myself I'm gonna go to community college down here so I can blah 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 get into tech. Worst decision ever, because the community college I went to lost my information like 6 times, and I said I'm not paying y'all. I said I'm gonna tell you right now, don't ever call me to pay you. And they called me for like 2-3 years, and I said I told you I'm not paying you. I said if y'all call me again because of y'all negligence, I'm gonna sue you. I'm gonna make sure that I sue you, and then I'm gonna get more than the $2,500 you asked me for. I'm 18. I don't have $2,500. I'm 19. I don't have $2,500. I don't have it. Leave me alone. But then I started going to church with my cousins down there after I had like went and lost my virginity. Wasted that. To be honest, I told the Lord I was gonna wait until marriage, but I just thought that I was just so in love with this girl, and then it was whack. It was a waste of time. And then she found out she was crazy. So I started going to church and stuff, and I'm hearing what they talking about, whatever. Fast forward again, maybe a year and a half. I'm 19, and I get saved again. The Lord heals me, heals my knee, heals my leg. So my leg grew out, my back healed, and then my relationship with my dad overnight got better. I won't say it was, perfect, but it got better. Now it's perfect. Now we can love on each other and stuff. And I remember going to visit my cousins again, and they was like, Kari, I heard you got saved. I was like, yeah, I did. I gave my life to Christ. And they was like, man, that's what's up. They was like, but if we ever catch you doing drugs or asking us if you want to try smoking weed or drinking, we gonna beat the brakes off you. Mind you, these cousins I beat up before. They said they was gonna jump me. Man, then my little brother Uriel, rest in peace. He was like, and I'm gonna help him too, like, cause he could just tell the difference in me. Like, I still had a lot of anger in my heart, but he was just like, I don't see, like, when I see or hear you, like, oh, I want to do this, it just feels weird. And I think that's what the Lord does for people, because he literally was like, it feels weird when you talk about drinking. And it was just it's a different, like, people see you in a different thing. My little brother, like, Uriel literally was like, I'll be in a PlayStation party with him. Hey, y'all, don't be cussing in here. My brother a Christian. Like, I would have people like cousins that I used to cuss with, whatever. Just talking, because that's just how we talk down here. And I'm still working on cussing because I know it ain't right. Ephesians was whooping me back when I was 16, 17. But he was just like, he could see it. I had cousins that I used to be with, and they would, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Even my cousin Dante. He's like your other brother. It was me, Uriel, and Dante. We are the 3 Miller boys. Man, he was just like, I'm sorry, cuz I ain't mean to cuss. He was like, I know you, whatever. And I was like, and I just laughed it off, because I never really just seen that before, because when you're a Christian and you black, right, you grow up with a lot of people in your family can end up being hypocrites. A lot of people in your family can end up being hypocrites. So when you see them and they're talking to you and they correcting themselves, I truly think that God is like moving in that aspect, because I didn't really change too much after I got saved the first like 4 years. But everybody else saw a change in me that I didn't see. And I think a lot of that had to do with the imposter syndrome I already have. Like, I don't feel like I know enough of my job right now, or I know enough about marriage, but people tell me otherwise. And I think that that's probably the most encouraging thing. So, again, with Preacher Boy, his cousin was going to kill him. He was like, I will kill you so that you never come back here again. And I had cousins that were like, we will beat the brakes off of you if you ever fall back into that again. So that's double. I have a purpose in my family to continue to serve God, continue to push the narrative that the Lord does love everybody, right? And you will become a new person. You will be changed if you repent and ask for forgiveness and then give your life to Christ. Straight up. And I just enjoy that. I enjoy that because I've had some hard times with this walk with Christ, but it's been worth it.